I raise a trembling hand in class. No sound comes out, but I attempt to ask, "Dear random teacher, can I please go to the nurse?" No, I am not done with my reading, and no, I am not bleeding, but my hands have energy bullets that shoot through the tips, and I cannot stop my words that talk with two fast-moving lips, and I've clenched my hands 60 through 64 times now, and it's starting to hurt, so please, random teacher, can I please go to the nurse? No, she will not help at all. But how can she help someone when their problem is a brain with crumbling walls, a heavy sigh, and a heavier groan? Her sour lips will ask if I'd like to go home. And I will say no, but make a personal note to remind myself it is my fault, I'm like this, and I must tough through the day on my own. Step by careful step, I feel my hyped up energy diminish. I feel I have nothing left. Step by careful step, I feel myself getting slower. I feel myself getting lower. The floor has welcomed me yet again. I'm its most frequent guest. I heard my heartbeat through the floor. I heard the slamming of a door. I heard the violent song of gravity beckon me once more. I'll let it cradle me and all its gore. I'll let it cradle me until its heavy arms are sore. And as I lay, I'll remember of all the pieces I have failed to put together. Have you ever had to check that these hands were connected to your shoulders because of how much they shook, you weren't sure if they were yours? Did you hide them under your desk and hope your classmates wouldn't see, hoping they won't notice that you can't breathe? Did you constrain them under sheets and hoping only your pillow could hear an even breathing as you wept? Because a leg that endlessly shakes demands you stay awake, worry about that homework you didn't do because you're too terrified that if you begin to, that vibrating numb will fill up like sand filling up a body bag, make its way through your body and paralyze your nervous hands. Pencils that weigh exactly 0.00567 kilograms suddenly are heavier than the list of my words demands. Have you ever told someone that for far too often, for no reason at all, you feel far too close to the end? And they tell you to breathe and count back from 7. Okay? 7. I'm sick of days of wondering where my sanity's been. 6. I'm sick of being sick. 5. I'm tired of being mocked by the loss of my wasted time. 4. I'm done with jerking limbs that leave my body sore. 3. I'm tired of a heart that worries instead of beats. 2. I'm sick of having to explain this to many and be understood by few. 1. I'm constantly being told what I am, what I am not, what I have, what I do not, by people who have not experienced me, and I am done. Don't tell me I can choose what thoughts consume my mind, and I just have to choose to be positive. Because I'm absolutely positive you've never felt so confined at war against the makings of the walls inside your mind, and I'm sorry there is no evidence. And I know the cure is not to stuff my lungs with medicine, but therapy isn't working. And I don't know why I have to prove to you that I'm hurting. I've learned the world doesn't pause so you can get better. You just have to chill out and get it together. Yet another day I raise a trembling hand in class. No sound comes out, but I attempt to ask, "Dear random teacher, if everyone in the world had anxiety, how long do you think we'd last?" Because I'm sure having a hard time. And I'll probably spend a while worrying if this makes a proper last line.
I'm sitting here in my house, in my home, staring at the black walls around me in my room, remembering I was the one painting them. Because black was all that remained from all the colors that once shaped me into who I was back then, and now my veins are paper thin, like thunder and fire killing me from within. I crave for a reason to become a winner, but the blood on my sheets says you're a sinner. I hide myself behind these words and hope nobody's smart enough to know the art of reading between the lines, because they are the ones that define that I'm nowhere near fine, but death sounds so pretty in a rhyme. The glass of wine is glued to my fingertips. It's past 3 a.m. when a pill slips between my lips, and one single thought grips itself around my throat and makes me write a suicide note while I choke on the truth that my youth is nothing but pathetic. Take away all those poetic texts. What's left in the end is the question, what's next? And to be honest, I don't know. For now, time goes by so slow, yet faster than it's ever been. And the lottery of hell takes another round as I bury myself into the ground. And then one day I wake up thinking, hey, this could be a good day. But then my shadow comes around and puts on a filter of grey shades. Invisible tears dropping on my jeans while I sit in school and stare on screens. In a class of 30 teens, am I the only one not having the strength to study molecular motion? I barely remember my own devotion, and I walk home and go to sleep just to repeat and repeat and repeat. I wear my sadness on my skin like vanilla hand cream, pretend my life is just a bad dream, and in a minute I wake up to sunshine and a cup of happy. But life is cruel, so my golden rule has to be to keep waiting for that day to come. Although I'm shrinking and breaking and fading into a tiny ball of misery, and peacefully refuse to free my mind, because all that I believe is that perhaps some people are not designed to be blessed. All I have left to decide is whether or not to put on the life vest before throwing myself into the ocean that is waiting for me to die. Some nights I cry because I miss the breath of my demon sleeping next to me. Some nights I cry because they take up too much of my bed. Some nights I cry because the darkness doesn't let me see. Some nights I cry because I have a monster as a pet. And I feed it well. I hate how much I love it. Its name is depression.
It is the most stereotyped, misinterpreted mental disorder I've come to know, and I'm here to fix that. So here we go. Hi, I'm schizophrenic and so am I. When I look in the mirror, there are maggots and beetles and cicadas eating my organs, but that's nothing to worry about. All my blackheads are actually tiny bugs burrowing into my skeleton, turning me into a human virus, but they're just trying to survive. Just like me. Why is the door handle moving again? When I walk through the halls, I can hear and feel it breathing on me. When I put my hands to the wall, I can feel the hallway's pulse. There are angels that stroke my hair at night and sing harmonies outside my window. They could kill me if they wanted, but sometimes they're a comfort. Now I'm constantly waking up from my current state of being. Am I waking up into another dream, or is this real life? Some people's cases are so bad that they never really know. So they don't get a normal shot at education. Therefore, no more college degree. Sorry, I guess you don't get that dream job you wanted. Now you can collect disability from a state while they only leave you with enough money so you haven't died. Completely. No more social life. Everyone thinks you're a psycho. No love life either, because depending on your genetics, no one wants a schizoaffective of a child. Do you know what it's like to know that if my child ends up like me, I'll have to apologize someday? So you just gotta learn to be completely and utterly alone. The only sound you'll ever hear is your own voice replying to the demons in your head. The only people left are the whispers in the dark, accompanied by the horrible visions. Your devils will be your only comfort. Get used to the loneliness. Welcome to the prison of my psychosis. Schizophrenia is not seeing things when you're high or half asleep. And depression isn't something you feel for 5 minutes. Schizophrenia isn't 14-year-olds on Tumblr posting, I am psychotic, because that's what the online test says. Stop self-diagnosing. I am not an adjective. Mental disorders aren't trendy. Psychosis isn't sexy. Stop fetishizing our pain. There's nothing to gain but sleepless nights in the corner of my room watching the walls hyperventilate as they close in on me. These bedroom walls are my only friends. I don't have any real ones. I live in a society that treats me like I'm not human. My personality is something off the label of my medication. How many times do I have to say it? I am not my disorder. We stopped asking mommy to check under our bed for monsters until it started needing lab tests and doctors to realize that they were inside of us all along. The others make fun of us and question our sanity. I reply with, is not pronounced crazy. There are too many people in my head, and after a fistful of antipsychotics that don't seem to be working, I don't know who I'm speaking for. I feel like I'm constantly at war with myself. Let's take it to Google. Schizophrenics should be locked up, killed, institutionalized, forced to take medication. Schizophrenics are annoying, abusive, evil, emotionless, liars, loners, manipulative, mean, psychopaths, retarded, dangerous, demon-possessed, depressed, Do you think I asked to be this way? Stop trying to put things you can't explain or begin to understand into your perspective. You're neurotypical, you'll never emphasize, and truly, the only one who will ever understand me is the moon. Uncertain, alone, manufactured by imperfections. I'm sorry that my genes offend you, that my neurotransmitters are a little off. Almost 8 billion people experience their day different. Don't tell me you didn't either. You don't need to tell me that I look sad and tired. I know I look sad and tired. I am sad and tired. The problem is that we have a society that paints us red while living in black and white, and it hurts to say it's no shock 50 to 60% of schizo-affected take their own lives. 1% because they couldn't scratch the surface. 99% because of the brutality. Who would ever want to be part of such a cruel generation? Teaching us to point fingers at everyone but who in fact is guilty. At the end of the day, on the inside, we're all the same, we're all to blame. There are things that Valium and Zoloft can't fix in a world of doctors and therapists, only trying to shape us better. We are the circle and the square, thanks to the horrible things that we are broadcasted as. This is our disorder, our challenge, our struggle, our fight to overcome, something you can't just begin to understand, something you should not wish to have. This is our pain to look back on and laugh off. Like how your bruises are yours to poke at, your stabs are yours to pick at, and my scars are mine to watch fade.
I'm a prisoner in my own mind. It keeps telling me I'm shit, a waste of space, fucking up my life. I sit here feeling sorry for myself, knowing full well that as each day goes by, the less opportunities I have. It's a daily reminder that I'm running out of time. These are the thoughts that burden my mind, keep me up at night, make me realize that no matter how hard I try, I'm not fine. I'm tired. Tired of pretending and living this lie. I'm not alright. And I haven't been for a while. I'm sick to death of feeling sad, walking around with a heavy heart, putting all of my energy to just being okay. When I'm not. I'm weak, emotional, fragile. I put up a strong game face, but all you need to do is ask me the right questions, and it'll all come pouring out. The dark thoughts, anxiety, self-doubt, and sometimes I just need to be in a room by myself to keep the thoughts in my head down. Cause you see, on the outside everything is still. Everything is calm. But up in here, in my mind, it is so fucking loud. I feel everything at once. It's killing me. I'm losing my mind. Tell me, how do I escape? When my worst demons are on the inside, I'm buried alive. It's a constant battle between my life and my mind, and it's time for me to admit that I'm losing this fight. I'm slowly watching as my personality dies. It's taking over. I'm going on to anxiety's side. I just wanted to stop! But it won't stop. It never stops. It controls you, eats you up, makes you believe that it's all your fault.
I was 7 years old when I felt insecure about my weight for the first time. Of course, it wouldn't be the last. In fact, that moment in math class when I had to use my weight as the data was only the beginning of all the mental turmoil and self-loathing that came inevitably accompanied by growing up as a big girl in a world much smaller than I reached age 11, and by then it was undeniably clear that I just didn't look like the rest of the girls I went to school with, and I didn't look like any of the girls on TV. In fact, I didn't know anybody that looked like me, so there must have been something wrong with me, right? Because this world was made for small bodies, and I just took up too much goddamn space. Or at least that's what the boys who had lockers next to mine told me as they yelled at me for blocking their lockers with my mile-wide body and made fun of the size of my favorite jacket. Of course, that was enough for me to hate that jacket for the rest of eternity, as it became a symbol of proof for why looking different, in my case, meant looking disgusting. I was fat, and everyone wanted to make sure I knew it, as though I hadn't spent every waking moment of the past 12 years of my life looking my body up and down in the mirror, searching for just one thing to like about it. I never found anything to like about the way my stomach jutted out or the way my thighs spread wider than most of my friends' bodies when I sat down. I mean, how could I? I was spending every day of my life surrounded by people who hated me for looking the way that I did, surrounded by people that wrote Facebook statuses about a girl that they referred to as Sergeant Tubbs and a girl that they insisted would live her life a complete and utter failure because no one wanted to look at or be around a fat, disgusting waste of fucking space. So you know what that girl did? She started starving herself, 13 years old, making sure I barely ate, wrapping my stomach in tight cloth before going to school each day, terrified of anyone seeing the body that I had unfortunately been stuck with, because to feel beautiful was to be less fat, and to live up to their standards was to not look like that. And so I existed in a world where the only voice I could hear inside my own head was screaming, "You've already eaten 2 granola bars today, you're already way past your daily calorie count, and until you feel hungry all the time, it isn't working." And with every growl of my stomach, I felt like I was stabbing the fat girl that destroyed my life. I was 14 years old when I developed an eating disorder, doing anything to numb the pain of being stabbed over and over again for no reason other than I was me and I looked like this, and for some reason that meant I should be punished. Because I'm a big girl living in a world much smaller than the size of my stomach, a world that told me over and over again that I needed to dress to flatter my body, which was really just an overdressed way of them telling me I needed to make myself look thin even if I wasn't. A world that instead of yelling at the boys who made fun of my 7-year-old body in a bikini at summer camp told me to invest in a one-piece because people are mean and there's nothing we can do about that. A world that told me the only characters I'll ever get to play in movies are the fat funny friends, the sidekicks, the punchline to everybody's fucking joke, because that's what I am, right? A joke? A joke of a human being, because I'm not their definition of beautiful. Because I'm fat. I was 16 years old when I realized I needed to help this fat girl heal these stab wounds. I was 16 years old when I realized it wasn't fair that she was living her life by the rules and standards of those around her. I was 16 years old when I realized that I am not my body. I am more than my stretch marks. I am more than my cellulite, than my stomach rolls. I am more than a number on a scale and a reflection in the mirror. My body isn't me. It's merely a casing, a packaging for everything that I truly am. So it was time to start loving me. I was 17 years old when I became body positive because it was finally time for me to publicly love the skin that I was in. It was my time to take back the years of self-love that self-loathing had stolen from me. It was my time to reclaim the word fat. F-A-T, a word that previously had done nothing but well up tears in my eyes while making me feel completely inferior to the rest of society. A word that had been used against me to fuel my own self-hate. Fat is not a dirty word. Fat, F-A-T, a word to describe my body. I have stretch marks that run the length of my hips, waist, and stomach. I have cellulite that scatters itself through my thighs. I have rolls on my stomach and a double chin when I laugh. My thighs spread past the edges of my chair when I sit down. My stomach falls past my belt. Fat, F-A-T. I am big and this world is small, but god fucking damn it, this world is gonna learn to make some room, because I am fat and I am beautiful, and when I say those words in the same sentence, they sound so good, because this time, for one of the first times in my life, I mean it. I am beautiful. I am fat. I am 18 years old, and I will no longer sit back and allow this 3-letter word to do anything but empower me to make a difference in the way this word is dropped from people's lips. Fat, F-A-T. Fat is not an insult. It's not a dirty word. It's not something that should leave your lips dripping in negativity and hate, because you always hear people say, ugh, oh God, I look so fat, but you'll never hear them say, oh God, I look so skinny, because religiously over and over again we have tattooed this sense of success onto the word skinny and this sense of failure onto the word fat, as though anyone who associates themselves with those 3 letters has lost the greatest race of all time. The race to be beautiful in a society that values one very specific image, and if that 3-letter word even comes close to describing you, you don't fit through the finish line. But that 7-year-old girl scared in her math class because she had to use her weight as the data deserves better. And that 11-year-old girl plagued with the idea that she was taking up too much space in the hallway deserves better. And that 13-year-old girl wrapping her stomach every morning just so that she could feel normal deserves better. And that 14-year-old girl with an eating disorder deserves better. Fat. F-A-T. My body is not a problem. The word fat is not a problem. The problem is that everyone expected it to be.
You never have to